Classical logic operates under a strict meta-theoretical presupposition. It assumes the environment it governs is perfectly consistent and entirely free of contradictions. Because of this assumption, classical logic contains a mechanical failsafe regarding contradictory data, known in Latin as ex contradictione sequitur quodlibet. From a contradiction, anything follows. This represents a formal theory space, set S. Introducing a contradictory pair, A and not A, triggers explosion. Their presence allows the mathematical proof of any arbitrary formula. The system enters trivialization. Every sentence becomes a provable theorem. A classical system cannot survive a single anomaly. When applied to massive, imperfect databases or real-world parameters, a single conflicting data point causes the entire deductive framework to collapse. To process real-world data, we need logical structure consistencies without collapsing into trivial states. Mathematicians like David Hilbert treated consistency as the ultimate criterion for validity. The non-contradictoriness of a mathematical object was the condition for its very existence. This view was challenged in 1948 by Stanislav Yaskovsky, operating in a post-war context where systems were inherently broken or conflicting. Yaskovsky formulated a logic designed specifically to analyze inconsistent theories without yielding to trivialization. This established the mechanical baseline for a paraconsistent logic. A paraconsistent logic is simply a system that explicitly disables the principle of explosion. By disabling explosion, the logic permits an inconsistent state, where A and not A are both present, to exist as a non-trivial, non-dadaistic state of affairs. Disabling explosion prevents trivialization, but it alters the mechanics of deductive reasoning across the entire system. Comparing classical and paraconsistent logic using the disjunctive syllogism. In classical logic, A forces not A to be false, so we infer B. But in paraconsistent systems, A and not A can both evaluate to true. The derivation path fractures, and B remains unprovable. Disabling explosion acts as a blunt instrument. It prevents trivialization, but it simultaneously cripples highly useful foundational rules of classical inference. Tolerating inconsistency uniformly at the baseline level strips away the deductive power required to execute complex mathematical and computational reasoning. There is a pervasive fallacy regarding this loss of power. Many assume that building a paraconsistent logic requires rejecting the principle of non-contradiction itself. This formula is the mathematical expression of the principle of non-contradiction. Logician Dran Marcos calls it the fetish formula, due to an obsession with proving it must fail in paraconsistent environments. But robust paraconsistent logics actually validate it as a theorem while preventing explosion. Paraconsistency strictly targets the explosive nature of the negation operator. It does not necessarily dictate the truth value of the contradiction itself. Recognizing that consistency is a distinct mechanical property from contradiction allows logicians to isolate it as a separate variable and rewrite how the logic operates. In standard classical architecture, consistency is an invisible meta-theoretical assumption. It governs the entire language from the outside, applying to every variable uniformly. This is the structural basis for the logics of formal inconsistency, a class of systems pioneered by the Brazilian school. LFIs take the concept of consistency down from the meta-theory and internalize it directly into the object language itself. Consistency migrates from a global assumption into a specific, definable operator. We express this new connective as circle A, denoting that proposition A is consistent. This introduces the mechanism of gentle explosion, a controlled parameter where the presence of A and not A alone will not explode the system. The system will only trigger explosion if A is asserted, not A is asserted, and circle A is asserted simultaneously. By making consistency an explicit operator, LFIs provide a surgical tool. We can control exactly where classical rules apply within a paraconsistent universe. This capability is the fundamental feature of LFIs. Through derivability adjustment theorems, we can seamlessly recapture classical reasoning inside an inconsistent environment. Our broken paraconsistent disjunctive syllogism failed because not A could be true independently. To fix this, we manually add the consistency operator, circle A, as an extra hypothesis. The classical constraints localize to proposition A. The derivation path reconnects, and the syllogism functions perfectly. This is highly relevant for computational architecture, specifically in developing mechanized deduction and evolutionary databases. Massive evolutionary databases ingest real-world data, inevitably creating localized contradictions, marked in red. The circle A operator sweeps the network, containing these red nodes within paraconsistent boundaries. Pristine nodes receive the circle A tag, forming insulated safe zones for high-speed classical logic. In this new computational architecture, classical logic operates as a localized limit case, functioning securely within a broader paraconsistent framework. By internalizing consistency into the object language, logics of formal inconsistency provide the mathematical tools to process conflicting data points, while preserving the rigorous inferential power of classical deduction.